Instagram, I think from this page. This is fun.
This is fun.
And if you don't know who this is the beautiful, gorgeous, divine goddess of greatness, Katerina Satori, which I could just go off and off and off and off. In fact, if we didn't actually stop ourselves and be like, okay, we got to jump on and do live. Almost everything for the last couple hours, we've been like, we should just have hit record.
Record everything.
There always gets to be a recording going on because so much beautiful truths and things have come up, and getting to have our hang time and space with this divine sister.
Yeah, and we met in a physical form today, but we've known each other
right?
like incarnation after incarnation. You know, it's a soul familiarity. You recognize the soul, you like, boom. It's a destiny moment, it's a destiny day, and it's been like that, right?
I mean, it's only been, what was it? I was in Europe actually for one of my Badass Breakthrough Adventures, one of my Ascension Adventure retreats. I just happened to, I stayed to play for a little bit with my assistant, and I one morning just happened to, all of a sudden, next thing you know, Katerina's on my newsfeed, like alive, talking about gene keys, which is one of the key we're going to share with you guys about discovering your divinity, which, if those of you are like, why the fuck would I care about my divinity, right? Can fuck and divinity operate in the same sentence? Yes, it can, because we're all things.
So now you guys tapped into the frequency and the movement of this conversation. Well, we're gonna bring it all of it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people will hear something that sounds spiritual and turn it off, and then there's other people who want only spiritual and turn off the human side of ourselves and the experience that we have. And so what we are talking about is one of the keys that we both found that have given us so much understanding of our ascension, our journey, the divinity of ourselves, how we operate, and then have allowed us to, through finding divinity, I'll put that as, we find our gifts. We find our greatest light, we find our multidimensional capacity, which then means I effortlessly receive money. That's how that shows up in your life and your human experience. It's how I open to love, right? And so Katerina is an expert at this. This is new for me in that I've been studying the gene keys for probably a year and a half. It's definitely an art of contemplation. And so when I saw her share what she shared, I was just like, so of course, drawn to this beautiful, gorgeous light, and was like, wow, what she's saying takes it to another level and another depth of understanding for me. And I know personally how and we'll dive into what this is. People are like, what are you talking about? I want you to hear why you want to stick around. Okay,
yes, yes, you guys.
It's been such a gift for me to use for myself, with my kids, to even with my clients and seeing, and she took it to a whole nother level of understanding that was like, whoa. So it opens up your pathways to discovering yourself that then allows you again to receive love, prosperity, all these things. So I just want to say, like, it's such an honor for me to be with her. I saw her for the first time in Europe a couple months ago. Here we are, and we've just been messaging and just like...
We've been flirting on Facebook and Voxer.
I'm totally in love with her. And and it was so beautiful how this showed up, right? She and I decided on this day, she was going to come down and we were going to just get to share some of these things and hang out together, have like a girl play day. And well, it ended up being the exact same day that we're having this beautiful sound healing frequency DNA activation event at my house tonight, the Magical Manifestation Mansion. So it's like, of course, you're meant to be here and in this space. We have such a fun day, right?
Oh, like, it's so, and it's just flowing. We are in that sense of timelessness, you know?
On your sexy dress, though. She's like,
we're in the sense of time. Yeah, I know.
We just want to share a dress.
We just want to transmute this energy, you guys, of purity and connection when you see another soul and you're like, I'm meant to do something with you. I don't know what it is, but now it's becoming clear. Let me get into your aura.
Right? Yeah. It's a remembrance. It was totally like an instant remembrance.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God you showed back up in my space. And even today, like, to get to have hang time together and have more deeper conversations.
Oh my goodness.
So many beautiful reflections. And maybe you can tap into that a little bit of you know, like, even because of our keys, because she knows my profile is, and we looked at our similarities, we're actually one of the rarest, I mean, I'll let you explain.
The rarest creature.
We're one of the rarest creatures that exist. So the moment she saw my profile, she was like, oh my God, you're a 6'3", you're me. You're totally like, we're these rare, unique unicorns here in this world for this purpose. And again, we're having all these beautiful conversations, right? That deserves a lot of hearts. We're extremely rare and unique.
Thank you guys for
all
the
of
hearts.
us,
Thank you guys
all
for
of
the hearts.
are rare and unique. We're all rare and unique, but yet it was a beautiful, and she understood me instantly because she knew what these points in my profile represented and what they meant my journey was a part of and who it allowed me to stand and be, what I'm here to do in this world. And so of course then we have this, you know, as we're going back and forth on our experiences, and she shares these things with me, I'm like, whoa, thank you for that. I see that so clearly because she understood certain points. Yeah. And as I share things on my journey, it got to bring like, oh, I see that, how we, and it was actually really reaffirming, right? To be like, oh girl, we ain't crazy. I mean, we are. Yeah, we the good crazy. We cray and that we know we're on our purpose. Totally. We know we're in our divinity. So,
totally.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, and thank you, Marcy. That was awesome intro. Like really, and we're just gonna go deeper and deeper into layers of you guys. Yeah. You know how I introduced Gene Keys?
Look, we got constant hearts going on over here. You got Instagram.
It's a heart pumping going on.
And guys, so over here, obviously,
Facebook.
We like get hearts.
Hey
right?
guys, we're on Facebook and we're on Instagram.
And we've never done Instagram, so this is like so far somebody's doing pure on hearts for us on Instagram. I love it. I think Facebook is like, hey guys, let's bring up the love.
Yeah.
Tell us where you're at. Also, guys, like I'd love to hear. Look at me. Did you see that? I was like, I'm trying to read.
Guys, where are you? Let us in the comments. Let us know in the comments where are you. And you guys, how I usually introduce the Gene Keys and Human Design as a package, you know, because they're two beautiful wisdom teachings. You know, I usually enchant people and I say, imagine.
Yeah.
I could show you a map of your inner being. Imagine I could show you a spectrum of your consciousness. Like imagine you can see inside of your inner world and see yourself when you reach a full expression of your potential. What that's
preach, sister. I'm like, yeah,
it is sexy,
and I'm like,
right?
It's fucking hot, and I'm like, that's truth. As you're saying that, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it's done for me. That's exactly what it's given me. It's like, and it's still opening up these worlds for me. So for those of you that are like, what are Gene Keys? Awesome, Brady. I know Brady is in one of my peeps in one of my programs.
Chicago,
He's been asking more and more about the Gene Keys, and this is actually why I asked Katerina. I requested. I was like, sweetness, I know I've gotten so much from it, and you have such a more of a depth to it, and I know a lot of my peeps are like, what is this Gene Key thing? What do I get to be studying? What is this here to share with me, and what I've even shared with my personal clients? And so I asked her, let's dive into this. Let's actually share this greatest gift. And Dallas, of course.
Dallas. I wonder where he's logging in.
Where's Dallas?
Where's Dallas?
I mean, Dallas, you're holding the space. You're holding the fort down. Dallas is totally holding the space.
Totally. So, yeah, you guys, but imagine you can see, you know, how do you show up? How's your consciousness flowers when you're on the full potential? Or imagine you have an exact map of your inner constrictions. Yeah, right? We all have them, but the difference, if I just say, hey, Marcy, like solve your poverty consciousness, that's gonna land on one way. But if I say, hey, Marcy, when you show up in forgetfulness, it blocks your abundance.
Oh my God. Right? Forgetfulness is such a shadow that I got to learn to lean into. And I didn't know. It's like giving it exact
precision.
Context. How powerful context is. Like you said, we could take one thing and be like, I mean, both of our genius is really seeing the unseen.
Yes.
Okay, so you see the unseen and you operate in such a beautiful space. One of my geniuses is seeing all the little gaps and the things that connect the dots to why the result is there. So even if you can look at somebody's money barrier or what's going on and what their patterns are and their behaviors and their identity and their programming from when they're little, etc., there's so many facets that we get to sit and operate with. Gene Keys is like, it's a code. Yes. So it is a code. It is your genetic code. It's your DNA code and profile saying you chose in on these exact gifts to learn through in your journey, to operate from the shadow self, right? That would stop you if you want the full divinity, if you want the full package of having it all, living in that alignment to receive the abundance and the love, all this. These are the things you get to work through, and it nails it.
It nails it.
Yeah. It's this word, and all of a sudden you lean into that understanding. I know. I was like, wow, I didn't even see that, or I was seeing it totally not in that light. Yeah. So give a little bit of understanding to that, and that's really what it is. It's a profile. Should we show?
Yeah, you guys, it is a code. So you get this. It's called the hologenetic profile, and here
dive in, ladies.
Yeah, dive in.
My boob almost fell out, but I caught it. Dallas, see, I'm more aware.
I love this girl. She's so fucking real. It's refreshing. Just like my boob just fell out.
But I caught it. It was really sly, but it was Instagram might have gotten it. Some of it.
Instagram is on fire right now.
Instagram is like hearts.
Totally.
Right?
Facebook, don't leave us hanging.
Come
you
on, guys. We love you.
We love you. We
Yes.
love you. So it's gonna be entertaining. We're here to entertain. It's kind of like a mix of we entertain and initiate. You know,
And we're giving you some truths. I mean, like,
Truths.
preach it from like the sexy golden sister of truth. I mean, how better can you receive truth?
I love it, you guys. But think about the Gene Keys as a journey into your divinity, right? And your journey has 3 milestones, right? You go deeper into the higher purpose, and then you're going deeper into higher level of relationship, and the next one, higher level of prosperity. So to remember simply, purpose, partnership, prosperity. There's a particular sequence that encoded in your DNA that your higher self decided, agreed upon, right? So you are not lost. You never come to
It's not like it was just put on you.
Yeah, no,
it
no,
is
no.
what you chose
agreed.
into. These were the messes that you asked for.
That's
to
right.
become your greatest message, right? And these were our. I mean, when this is what's so beautiful about it, and I love that you brought. I mean, think about the greatest growth processes we could go through, and what you're talking about with partnership and prosperity, and leaning into like these specific things. And what I love is that it gives you that. Every single client I've had that's popped out their profile, it's always like, oh my god. Those are the exact experiences I've had that have been my greatest shadows. So it's like, wow, it just resonates so clearly.
Yeah, and you know, Marcy, exactly. The only thing I would echo is every time I show somebody their profile, I don't even say much. I wait for them to have that epiphany. They're like, how did you know? I'm like, that's not me. This is the wisdom that's been channeled through this incredible man. His name is Richard Rudd. In 2009, he brought the system. It came through him.
It was a transmission.
It's a transmission. So 7 years, he was channeling this information, you guys, because with every leap of collective consciousness, we cannot use the same tools.
Yeah, what got you here can't get you there.
Yeah.
We're at a different level of humanity.
We're at a different level.
We get to keep embracing the understandings of our being, the ways of operating as a human species together, coming into oneness and divinity, etc. Otherwise, we continue to create struggle, sacrifice, servitude, lack of prosperity, etc. out of the way we used to operate. This
right.
is a new calling in.
A new calling in, you guys. How many of you know 7 centers chakra system, right? A lot of you know. But did you guys know that we are 9 centers beings already, right? So the human design was the first system that came through this really eccentric guy. His name was Ra, he was like total manifester. He brought this understanding, the human design, that we actually have a unique energetic makeup, energetic blueprint. So what I love about both human design and the Gene Keys, it actually confirms your uniqueness. So there is no cookie cutter path to enlightenment. There is no cookie cutter. I don't have any pronounce.
Cookie. I'll say it for you. I got you, girl. There's no cookie cutter path to enlightenment. There's no one way up the mountaintop is another way to say it.
Thank you, Marcy. You got me. So you guys, I'm originally from Russia. So sometimes when I speak very passionately, I lose my clear pronunciation. But you guys got it.
I speak so fast sometimes when I'm telling people, like, what did she say? It's perfect. We'll support each other.
Right? So you guys, what I love about both systems, that's why we're so on fire to kind of share, and maybe our purpose, our intention is to ignite your curiosity. And then, and then we can be like, okay, you guys, are you curious? Let's dive deep into it, because it revolutionized our lives, our relationships, our how we see our patterns, how we see our service in the world. It's a teachings ahead of its time, you guys. So if you are drawn to this transmission right now, you are ahead of your time, guarantee. Because how many times I'm wanting to introduce to the system people who are not ready, and they look at me like I'm an alien. I'm already an alien.
You are an alien.
Yeah, I'm kind of a
totally
piece for that.
From there. Yeah, we totally have accepted it.
I've accepted it.
And this is the beauty. It's like, I know there's people seeking it, and there's some people that, there's even been clients that I've introduced it to, and it's like, maybe get a little bit, because they're only willing to dive a little bit at the time. And later it can be like, oh my gosh, I had this in front of me this whole time, and I didn't realize what a powerful gift this was. So for those of you that are like, how do I, because there's such a greater game than just looking at things in the mindset. You and I were talking about this today, where I said my journey of discovery and doing what I do started with the mindset, and that was the baby step. And instead of us looking at consciousness and the mindset as the thing, it's actually just a tiny baby
It's
step.
a tip of an iceberg, you guys.
It's so tiny. And then we go into like our feeling body and our we were talking about today how the body never lies, how energy never lies.
The body cannot
The
lie.
body will tell you what's going on. The head's trying to catch up later, and it's trying to make up all its stories, and the human brain's trying to do one thing, and the body's like, this is what's true. The feeling center is so much more powerful. And those of you that follow me know that I talk about how the cellular memory, the vibration is 500,000 times stronger than this. So when you get into the gene keys, it's almost like it's a new guidance system.
Yes.
It's something else when we start to go, everything is connected. So from the numerology to, the universe to the date that I was born, all these things are connected to like my frequency, my DNA activated at this very time for this very reason. And this says, this is your genetic profile. So people can actually put in your little bits of information, which we'll share with you guys how to do this, and being able to pop out, this is mine.
Something like
with
this.
notes all over it. Your hologenetic profile, which is what we're talking about. These are the gene keys. These are your specific profile. Yeah. And then there's obviously lots of learning through all the gene keys, right?
You said it so well, sister. It's a snapshot of your consciousness. Can you imagine a snapshot?
That's a really good way to say it.
It's like,
oh my gosh. Yes.
Here you are when you are awakened. Here you are when you're deep in your constriction, deep in your shadow.
When you're in your shit. I'll say it.
That's it. That's it.
Shit.
Yeah.
Which the gift is in the shit.
The gift is
in the shit. The gift is in the shadow. The only way to transmute to operating out of your gifts and your alignment, right? Your city is what they call above the gift. But the only way to operate in that is to lean in and love the shadow. What we've been fighting is what we get to embrace and what we get to love. And when we see that, now there's no emotional charge on it because there's no judgment, there's no blame, there's no shame. We actually see how it serves us. Yeah. So how do I use that in service? And then that turns into your gift. That's why I always say your core wounds become your greatest core strengths. And actually, this is always what I'm thinking of. When I think about and I tell people your core wounds will become your greatest core strengths, I think about the shadows I saw in my gene keys, how they were my exact journey, my exact mess, and how they've transmuted into my greatest strengths, right? Like we talk about sensitivity is one of my cities. Sensitivity was something that I rejected in the past. I didn't want to be sensitive. I didn't want to feel things. I didn't want to have, we want to try to run past emotion and feeling because what does that make us? It makes us weak. And so we see all these stories. And when I recognized and saw it as sensitivity, when I learned and leaned into this because I had this understanding, and I saw how sensitivity, me being sensitive was one of the greatest gifts I had. That's why I can feel the energy. That's why I could see the unseen. I could connect the dots because I was so sensitive to it. And it gave me the greatest gift to then provide that value to my clients even more and for me to stand in my purpose even more. But I had to accept and love it versus the shadow of it. Yeah.
So beautiful and powerful, sister. You guys, this is the wisdom teachings that help you become true master of your frequency. Yeah. And so many people
mastering your frequency,
master of your frequency,
mastering your consciousness. I love that you said that. Mastering your frequency, because what you're creating is based on your frequency.
That's right.
You manifest what you vibrate.
Yeah, the thing is like law of attraction is like 1980s comparing to this. Law of attraction is great, but it's
baby step.
It's a baby step.
It was a baby step that we all were ready for.
You're ready to next level, you guys. And what I love about these teachings is really help you to embrace your humanity deeply, to honor it.
Yep.
And it teaches you that your attitude determines your frequency. Like I never got this distinction until the Gene Keys. Can you imagine? Your attitude determines your frequency determines everything.
Yep. Everything you're receiving is based on the frequency that you're putting out. The frequency of your words, your thoughts, your perceptions, your feelings, everything.
And then it becoms even more fun. You look at people's profiles and you recognize why they show up in your reality right now.
Why they're reading your script.
Exactly. I love that. Yep. I love that. Like when Marcy contacted me.
Simon. Hey Simon, we'll see you a little bit in my house.
Simon? We'll see you. Yeah, we'll see you soon. Yeah, when Marcy reached out to me, I was like, I was like, what's going on? And the first thing I wanted to see her profile. I was like, sister, let me see your profile so I can recognize the codes. Which codes do we share? You know what I mean? It's like, imagine understanding and knowing your unique soul codes that you chose as a soul that serve you, your highest expansion, your leadership style, how you show up in teams, how you show up in partnerships. And the flip side of it, babies, what are your patterns? When you triggered emotionally, are you going to your head? What level of your mind you use as a shield? We were talking together as it's not easy to be in a relationship with us.
It's an adventure.
It's an adventure. It's initiation. It's initiation.
Yeah.
And we were talking how similar we are to that. I said,
because we're both 6'3".
Yes, yeah. And I was like, the man who stepped into partnership with us, they...
Props to Dallas, by the way.
Yeah.
And do we get to say? Props to your...
Props to my beloved.
Your beloved.
My beloved, you're watching it. I'm gonna keep it as a mystery, man.
Yep.
Yeah. But you guys, you know, like the man who stepped into partnership with us, you know, like we found the similarities. It's a deep devotional spirits, you know, and we wanted to run from them, right?
Yeah, totally.
And like watching the patterns of running, you can run from your ideal partnership because you don't understand your core human wound.
Yeah.
So you guys, if you understand your core human wound and you're watching all these barriers that you were conditioned to protect your heart, your partner can be right in front of your face.
Yeah.
But you keep running.
Because you haven't faced your wounds. And they're designed perfectly to trigger all of you.
Yes.
All of those parts of you to actually lean in and so you can be at the fullest surrender, experience unconditional love, experience all the vulnerability. And the Gene Keys were a huge part for me, allowing that to finally evolve to me receiving and you know, allowing commitment, allowing myself to be fully held in the sacred masculine and seeing all those parts of me was because I saw it in my codes and I saw it in the Gene Keys like, oh, and you pointed something out, I'm like, oh, that's totally it. That's so true. That's totally how we operate.
Yeah, you guys, it's precision, you know, it's precision. It's like you're unlocking this code and the system, some people get turned off by perceived complexity, but I say, you know, just give it some time and if it calls you, commit to the process. You know, it only looks complex in the beginning, but then it just
which would have shut me down. I'm more technical every day. I'll put it that way. I have people that do that for me, right? And so if anything's details and complex, it makes me want to shy away. What I realized what I love about the Gene Keys is it really wasn't complex. It was really simple because it's like okay, and this is where we'll go through guiding and sharing a little bit more, but it's like when I understood like, okay, my life's work, I get to like, I'm just going to start and read that and study that Gene Key and sit with it, contemplate it. It really is it's a journey of contemplation, which if you think about it is one of our greatest journeys here for our society now, because we don't want to sit with anything. We don't want to be with anything. We want to just do and figure it out and go and move and and bypass the learning and bypass the actual
the wisdom.
Yes, the wisdom is
so
available.
we keep accumulating knowledge, but the wisdom requires contemplation, you guys. And we live in a world that we are starved from wisdom. And I'm gonna bring a mystical dimension to what you just shared.
Please,
right?
goddess, bring it. Shine some more.
The mystical side, you guys. Because it's a holographic wisdom. Think about butterfly effect. The moment you contemplate the highest essence, right? The highest essence, let's say, you know, sensitivity or sacrifice, the highest essence, you begin activating that vibration in your life. Imagine that every Gene Key, every code is a portal, is a holographic portal that you step in by the power of contemplation and intention. And when you walk through the portal, you walk through alternative reality, where this divine essence is reality for you. So the more you contemplate, the more it activates in your life. And then next thing you know, like,
well, your DNA shifts.
Your DNA
changes. And see, even to put this more in terms for someone who might be like, I don't understand how that works. Think about the moment you actually contemplate and you're putting your focus and attention on it, the energy of it opens up.
Yes,
the energy of it shows up in your life. And so it allows you to it's like, you could at any time, notice why it's like, I could go left to right. Left feels good. Right? Like there's this draw to it. And the moment it's like, there's this draw to it. There's this attention. It's right in front of you because it's exactly what you get to open up to discover that level. Because we're all here just to assist each other in ascension. Yeah. That's what we're here for. We're just here to assist
grenade.
each other in ascension. That's why all these things you saw as shadows or as experiences of people that came up and showed up in your life, they showed up on divine contract that you called for and asked for to experience what you did, to learn what you wanted to learn, to give you the feedback, to find your greatest light, and to ascend more. You couldn't have done that without these beautiful beings showing up in your life. And so it really is opening up. Cool. This is like it. I love that. I've never heard it expressed that way. And I love that you brought that to it. Because what I see and what my experience is in working with portals and diving into DNA activation, all these things is it literally, when you understand these things or you start to study this, okay, let's make it simple how it changes for you right now. You start to study this, and what's happening is you're receiving the information, the transmission, that all of a sudden you receive the codes that you've been waiting for. You don't have dormant DNA, or you don't have DNA that's junk DNA. That's just dormant. You're only operating out of 5% of your DNA because that's what we as humans have activated.
That's what we agreed to.
Yes.
We agreed to live in this limitation of 5%.
Yeah.
Now
Can you imagine
guys,
that? We agreed to 5% limitation, so we have so much infinite possibility and potential to open up the rest. And so it's simply getting like, the more that I actually choose to, when I get the code and the information, all of a sudden it's like my DNA strand that was missing something all goes, I got it. And all of a sudden my kundalini and my DNA strand, it like activates a whole nother level of understanding, wisdom, energy. My sight and foresight opened up, my ability, my psychic abilities, my intuition, all of these things align to another level of energy and openness and ability, because we just walked through the pathway to receive that code and understand that code within our DNA and our system. So you actually shift your DNA. You activate greater in your being from this.
Isn't it amazing? So you guys, this is the map to your enlightenment.
Yeah.
Let's just keep it very short. This is the map to your enlightenment, empowerment, and new reality. So I love how universal these teachings can be. You know, yes, it's ahead of its time, and yes, it's ahead of its time. You know, and you guys, when you're gonna dig your well before you're thirsty. So if you want a quantumly different reality, you start now. You start invoking this higher frequency. And here's another thing too, is this divine essence frequency, meaning your highest potential. It comes from your higher self, and it's looking for a vessel to download into. So the more you're open to receive this next level activation, it comes to you. It's like a magnet, right? So it's a really powerful time to be alive, you guys. It's really, and that's why we feel called to introduce and to share this wisdom with so many people, right? And we bring like, you know, similar teaching styles.
Well, and even to go off of what you just said, to bring it to more presence or understanding, is like, I learned this way when just learning and discovering how, when I used to try to show up the way that I thought I had to show up in mass, or you know, as like to be accepted and to afraid of rejection, etc. It's like we decide, like, okay, so say you're connected to this source, and it's like, oh, it's not okay for me to show anger. No, people won't like me if I show anger. Okay, don't do that. And your light dims, which is your abilities, all of these things. So it's the same thing. Well, it's not okay for me to be sad. Everybody likes a happy girl. Let's not be sad, right? And all these things. And you kind of like, what we've done in the human experience is we've stifled our light. We've like made it, you know, a good example, we like a garden hose. A garden hose is a great tool, yet if you crank, you know, you bend the hose, it's still a tool, but it's just not working really well, right? Like, so it's like we stifle our light from all these stories, these identities, these perceptions, all these things, and all of a sudden we're operating out of a glimpse of us. And when you understand this and these, it's almost like what you're saying is, oh, the light gets bigger and bigger and bigger until you're just this full capacity light being, like, ah, like I'm fully expressed and vulnerable and seen and heard and willing to receive, because I actually, all of these pathways that were dark energy, dark matter, or misunderstanding of who I truly am is what I get to lean in and open that. It just reminded me of that as you said that. It's like, oh, each one of these codes I understood, and I applied it into my life, and I contemplated on it, and I allowed myself to see where it was showing up and what I got to lean into and love that transmuted it. I became a greater capacity. I became a bigger light, a bigger voice. I received at a greater degree. My life continued to up level the more I understood these codes.
It's all holographic, you guys. You know, we live in a fractal universe. So when you upgrade your frequency, you upgrade your fractal reality.
Because we're vibrational beings.
So if you know, for example, it's like, and now, especially now during ascension time, it shifts so fast, you guys. That's why we've been giving these teachings and these tools that are way ahead of its time, because we're preparing for this rapid quantum leaps of consciousness that's happening.
We are time hopping. We're hitting these spaces where we're time hopping. And that's why I think, I mean, we've all seen it. Massive shifts in the world right now. the energy, the different weather, the different things happening, the things with our humanity. Everyone's feeling like, whoa, even the Me Too movement, everyone's feeling all these things come up because we're willing to embrace, and we get to take full responsibility as humans, that we're embracing how we've operated as humans, how we've treated the earth, everything that we're doing, how we've created separation within ourselves. And all of this is calling the next level of understanding. Yes. We understand why we operated that way. We actually heal it. We talk about, we get to feel it, to heal it. We heal it, love it, to know now I could only see my brother or sister as this, and I can honor your uniqueness. Look at this amazing, unique profile. Like I've been saying over and over, people always hear me say, you have your own fingerprints, your own toes prints, your own voice box. There's no way you can be like anyone else. You're that much of a brilliant, unique, magical being. We can't be like anybody else. And this just confirms it even more, that our own path is our own perfect path. And that's why we can only self-realize. We were talking about this today, right? We can only self-realize through another. And that seems really like an oxymoron, or really contradictory, right? It's like, what? I mean, let me put it this way. If you go meditate on a mountaintop by yourself and you're like, great. Are you going to self-realize? No, because you're the only thing there. There's nothing there to trigger you. There's nothing there to reflect to you. And so it's through when I experience another, like when I see her and I can be like, wow, what a beautiful, gorgeous light. Oh, that's because I've actually loved and accepted myself. I can see my light, that I see her as a light. When I interact with someone else, it triggers me. I'm like, why am I triggered? Oh, there's something I'm judging about them that I haven't accepted within myself that is within me. And so that's why we can only self-realize through experience of the self with another. When we see ourselves in someone else's eyes, we become self-realized, because that means I see you in me, and we are one, and we're all allness, and so we're all in this interdependence together, right? And this is a part of that process of raising our consciousness and our mastery to receive highest levels of prosperity, and everything is coming into interdependence. That's why we could only embrace each other and be like, wow, sister, you have the most amazing gifts. I want to understand more of this and share this with more people, and for myself and for them to have that gift, and how I have my gifts and we all have our gifts, and we can assist each other in our ascension.
So beautiful, but it's so true, you guys. It's so true. And like, to kind of like introduce it in a different way. So the entire system of the Gene Keys will help you understand you a different level of consciousness. So how do you show up in your life, in your relationships, in your business when you are disconnected from your true self? And it gives you precise patterns that show up, precise patterns how you create poverty in your life. Precisely, and why you keep doing it, right? Precise patterns how when somebody gets too close to your heart, you fucking run. Can you imagine learning exact precise pattern?
Up for you,
not just like don't abandon yourself. That's general. When you go precise, when you see, you cannot unsee. And then
seeing the unseen. I want to just stop for a minute and let that sit, right?
See the unseen.
Seeing the unseen, because what a gift that is. Because when you think you're operating even consciously, a lot of us is like, oh, consciousness is now finally cool. We're going to say our affirmations, rah, rah, rah. And you're saying it, yet the underlying frequency which she's talking about that's actually there is, I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. I'm afraid I'm going to get hurt. So I'm going to bolt and run. And I can consciously validate that all day long. I can consciously say, oh, that didn't feel good, so I chose this. That sounds really conscious. Yet what was underneath was that specific trigger, that specific thing was putting out this frequency of like, I'm scared, I'm not enough, I can't receive love, that doesn't feel comfortable. And so we ignore the underlying frequency and what's unseen. And it is discovering the unseen. It's not the surface that will give us the gift. It's not the surface that will give us the freedom. It's the root.
The roots.
We go to the roots. We go to our genetics. We go to our profile. We go to our DNA. We go to our shadows. We go to our behaviors, our patterns, our programming. Not, well, this seminar will teach me about how to do this system to get more clients. That's outside of you, my friends. It's going inside of you. That is the only pathway that allow you the greatest gifts and all your freedom.
That's right. That's right. And it's so powerful, you guys. This is the inner journey.
Love you, Joanna.
Yeah.
Joanna.
I know. Joanna, she's holding it down in Hawaii.
She's totally
what a beautiful light you are, sister. Yeah, you guys. So imagine you get to know your shadow patterns in a new light. And then you get to see your shadow through creative eyes, through the open heart. When you stop resisting the dark, you start working with it, like this, like an alchemist, like a true alchemist of your life. And
Total alchemy.
Total alchemy.
Yes.
And then you guys, then the final thing is like everybody wants to know how to get to prosperity. And I drop the truth grenade and I say, hey, if you don't heal the deepest wounding of your heart, you will never reach a true prosperity in your life.
Yeah.
So there is no.
You said that once I heard you, where you were talking about like the path to prosperity is healing your heart.
Yes.
And it makes so much sense because you can't receive. The world will only allow you to. You can only receive as much love as you're willing to give yourself. Right. Mm-hmm. The world will only treat you to the example you have as loving yourself. So if you think you're not worthy and not worthy of receiving love deep down, because you haven't healed these wounds in your heart, there's no way you can receive more prosperity. You can only receive prosperity at a certain level that says, I'm only worthy of this much love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's true, you guys. That's true. And then, we also enjoy connecting the human design with the Gene Keys. Mm-hmm. So we actually, I was showing Marcy this incredible approach called integral human design that blends both teachings together so beautifully. And you get to see your highest potential in organization. Mm-hmm. How your leadership shows up in teams. So it's such a multifaceted wisdom teachings. You can see your genius in a new light. How do you show up in team? How do you show up in organization? And
with your kids, with your kids.
My God.
It's super powerful. And I wonder if there's a way that, I'm happy to share one of my examples to me that makes sense into, like you're talking about, like how then you get to see it through a different light and the energy of what it is. Because so one of my gifts is sacrifice, right? And when I read that for the first time, I was like, it really pissed me off. It really did. I was like, how the fuck can one of my gifts be sacrifice? What is my message? I'm always teaching there's no such thing as sacrifice. In conscious relationship, it's only win-win. There's only all benefit. There's no sacrifice or settle. So I was really confused and conflicted of how one of my gifts could be owning and embracing sacrifice when I fought sacrifice. I went out to, I was raised in this religion that was sacrifice and servitude and how that kept me hiding and scared in all these ways. And I was telling Katerina that when I saw that was one of my greatest gifts, to transmute like the forgetting of who I was all the way into this sacrifice. And I realized what it was loving myself so much, which was the opposite of sacrifice, right? Loving myself so much that I would stand for the highest, greatest good, that I would sacrifice myself to say, I'm here standing in this light. So whether that meant anyone could hate on me or judge or project, it's like, I'm willing to sacrifice what the world would see as this to stand in this greatest light and allow myself to be that. And I had to go through all these wounds of healing to allow myself to love myself enough to stand no matter what. To say, I will stand and I will be here as a pillar of truth and transparency and authenticity and integrity. To be the thing that you can see, like the lighthouse, like you are a lighthouse, right? For them to see you instead of hiding or pulling away. And that's when it transmuted into a gift of seeing the interdependence and seeing myself connected to all things and all people, and how there was a form of choosing a sacrifice for the greater good. And yet it didn't come from me seeing it out of the eyes of sacrifice I saw before, which was, I'll put myself last, or I'll do whatever you want to do, and sacrificing myself. And I think that's the greater understanding it opens up for you. It's to go so much deeper into our human traits and our identities, our patterns, the things that we would fight, to see them in such a greater light. And that obviously evolved my whole experience in such a greater, higher way.
So beautiful, sister. Like the image that came to me, like imagine before you incarnate as a soul, you get to pack your backpack. You get to choose what to bring to Earth, right? You're like ready for expedition to Mount Everest. It's called next incarnation, right? And
it's called the human experience. Tuning in.
And you like, and I probably would bring like the giant backpack, and my angel's like, no, Katerina, that's
going to be a heavy load.
Yeah, you only can pick 4 gifts. 4 gifts, you guys. So let's look at the graph. So the first activation sequence teaches you about 4 prime gifts that are cornerstone, the foundation of your human existence. So imagine you as a soul chose 4 specific gifts that anchor you in your divine purpose. Would you be interested to know what those good gifts are? And 2 of them are conscious, so everybody sees that. Everybody sees that Marcy has that. Like, she will sacrifice herself for an idea, for the mission. She will stand transparent. Everybody sees that. But there is also 2 subconscious gifts that everybody sees, but she probably doesn't see.
Because a lot of times we don't see our gifts.
It's like a fish in the water. You're like, water is wet. What?
Yeah. It's like the gift. I love that you're bringing this up because it's like the gift that's in front of you that can give you freedom. Yeah. It's the gift, the idea, the thing that flows so good for you, that feels so good, that can open up the things that you offer to give you massive amounts of prosperity, but you don't see it.
Yes, and imagine you guys, you will see it.
It's a hidden treasure.
It's a hidden treasure. So yeah, it's a journey to uncover your hidden treasures. Yeah. That's a nice tagline.
Right?
I love that.
I do too. Look how easy this is when we just flow and just have so much fun, right?
It's so totally good, you guys.
So explaining it.
So we just like, we're on fire. And then another thing, how I did it with my clients, you know, I literally began focusing on their highest potential, and I begin speaking to their highest potential. I don't speak to their shadows. I don't speak to their struggles. I just say, hey, you know, this is a beautiful, you know, this gift of transparency, you embody it so well today. And I just zoom in and I just speak to their subconscious.
And they start to see those things.
And they're like eagles.
Wait a minute, you're right. I am really good at being transparent. I am really good at just being authentic. Yeah, beautiful. I love that.
And they just like open their wings and they open their power. And then, of course, you know, since you shared such personal example, I wanted to share you guys, when I saw my mom's profile, years of resentment just fell away. Because, you know, I got to see her profile, I got to see her unique challenges, you know, and her karmic path that she chose. I had like a holy crap moment. I was like, wow, I was judging my mom.
I see it now.
Yeah, I was judging
why that was her process, why that was her gift. That's so, and while you're on that and understanding, if there's, I just want you guys to hear this, if there's judgment or resentment, first off, judgment is the energy blocker to unity.
Yes.
So if there's any judgment, there's separation energy. If there's any resistance at all to anyone or anything, you're in contraction versus expansion. That contraction means, oh no, I can't receive more money. I can't receive more love. I can't receive more joy. So do you want to be in contraction? No, this is where you call yourself on your bullshit. You want to be in expansion. And so when you recognize there's resistance to anything, it's not to say that you align to doing what someone else does, but if there's a judgment on what they do or how they live or an idea or a thing, it's separation, it's resistance, it's saying that's not okay. Instead of like, oh, that's interesting. I honor that being part of their story and part of their journey or part of the way that they go up the mountain, right? Yeah. And I also honor and stand in the truth of me and what serves me. And this is why it's okay for us to like be these pillars of light and have someone that might hate or, you know, etc. We're like, we stand as this pillar of light for you to see what you're scared of seeing.
Oh my God, sister, that's so true. It's so, so true. So and I love that you brought the contraction expansion, you guys, because ultimately the Gene Keys is a manual on how to expand your DNA. At any point, your DNA either contracts or expands, contracts or expand.
But you're either going to choose to lean in or you're operating the survival pattern of run and pull away.
That's right.
And the comfort zone, right, wants me to go like, oh, no, this is comfortable. That's a perfect signal. Go lean into this comfort zone, move through this comfort zone to expand.
That's right, you guys. And you know, like I keep reminding myself, will this choice contract my DNA or not? It's so simple.
I love that you said that. Say that one more time.
Will this choice contract my DNA or expand it?
I love to ask sometimes, I'm like, what does this have to do with my divinity? It was actually, I think, Neil Donald Walsh, in one of the Conversations with God books that he said, I asked myself, I catch myself in moments, go, what does this have to do with my divinity? And it brings it to such context. It's such black and white. Another one for me is I'll be like, and how is this love? So if I'm judging something or triggered by something and I can see it out of my little girl that's scared or the little boy or girl that is projecting or something or the experience, like, oh, that's how this is love. Oh, that's how I chose this out of love. So it brings it back to that where it's like, what are we really focused on versus expanding? What is more sacred than our life experience, the investment in ourselves and our divinity, and these are codes to our divinity and to our divine path.
It's like, you guys, it's like somebody hands you a key to the next chapter of expansion for you, right? And it's all locked in, and your DNA is your safe.
It's all locked in, right?
Yeah, so the hidden treasure is inside of you. Your DNA is the safe. And the Gene Keys is the key. You know, it's not the only path to expand your DNA. You can get there many, many pathways, you guys.
But this is one of the most...
It's fun.
Yeah, and it's one of the most influential... it's just one of the most powerful in my experience, right? Because obviously I've been doing deep dive inner work for 20 plus years. I take people all over the world down in the jungles and do crazy shit activate and to open up, and we do mindset training, we do all these things, and Gene Keys was this, it was like a whole nother level. Like I said, I love it as seeing it as sometimes medicine work and ceremony, and some those things can be like doing 20 years of surface work, 20 years of mindset, right? It takes you so deep. Gene Keys is another one of those where it's like, it takes you beyond the surface of the veil that you're seeing and the parameter or paradigm that you're looking for. It takes you to a deeper knowing you did not see. It's such a beautiful gift. Such a map.
So powerful, so powerful. And you know, like you guys, the healing that it brings you, like you see your unique way, your unique contribution to the world, you know, like when you step onto the path of service, like you activate a whole new fractal.
Look, I gotta pull that down. What a beautiful thing.
Yes,
they are great tweetables. Thanks,
they
London.
are great. They are great tweetables. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the support. Yeah, it's so beautiful, you know, it just unlocks your heart and unlocks the power of your relationships. You see yourself in a new light, you know, and then you heal your ancestral line, you know, like you can either, once again, you guys, in a simple way, you can either expand your DNA or you can contract. And the point of convergence is what? Open heart. So through the open heart, you can see your challenges with new creative eyes. You can look at your partners who you judge, you want to push away, you want to run away. You can look at your partners in a whole new light and you say, thank you for teaching me humility.
Gifts. They're your personal emotional trainers, and they're your
personal emotional trainers. Did you just say that?
Yeah,
that was amazing.
I gotta remember who said it. It wasn't my original, but it was like, it's like
personal
relationships are your pets. They're your personal emotional trainers in your life. And I'm like, it's true, because we were talking about how our mind, like if we get really vulnerable and talk about our own experience with beloved, right? With our beloveds, and I was like beloved because she's one of my beloveds now too.
Totally.
And just all the stories and all of our journey of calling these things in and being able to shed stories of what it got to look like, and our human brain wants to be like, I'm calling in this and it looks like that and it's da-da-da-da-da, and it shows up and it's like, that's not what I thought it was gonna look like. That's not what my head planned out. And that's also, and it was like, and when I lean in and we work through all the things that is perfectly designed for, it becomes the most amazing thing you could have never planned. It goes way beyond what you could have planned, because it is what your body wants. It's what your heart wants. It's what your everything inside of you is seeking to have that alignment to, that feeling of that understanding. And it's calling that exact experience for your ascension. So, and we were saying today, we're like, well, where would the growth be in that? If like our, you know, the exact like, it's going to be this. There's no growth in that for us, because there's nothing to challenge it. It's just like, and you think about, I want to just bring this to light and understanding, is that when we most of us in our human unconscious operations are avoiding pain. Totally. We're avoiding the gifts, and that's why I would say the gift is in the shit. The power is in the pain, because the pain is just an emotion. See, your human story said pain's bad and wrong. Your human story said we want to avoid pain. When you evolve to seeing it for what it is, and again, all of this is to see the unseen, and you see the gift that's in front of you when you go, ooh, why is this painful? Woo, what am I feeling? Like, what is that, right? Like, why am I feeling this pain? Oh, this pain, this is hitting this, that I feel rejected. Yes. I feel not worthy. I feel unheard. I feel shame or blame, which is the lowest vibrating energy that's definitely blocking manifesting money and all things, right? And yet the pain leads you to that, to go, whoa, that's why. And I have this understanding of it. And it allows us to go through the healing of that pain that then gives us where that would never even affect me anymore. You know, like all the past patterns or triggers or the stories that I lived in, it's like, I just they don't even exist in my reality anymore, because I allowed myself to heal them. And so it gives you the power, it gives you your greatest gifts. And yet, so when we see that we can, instead of push away those things, we actually lean into things. So of course, to call in your highest level relationship, you get to call in and experience every single level of what you've rejected in yourself, and all the parts of you and all the parts of stories of other people that you're putting out that vibration, that judgment towards someone. That's why they keep showing up in your space until you look at it and you're willing to look inside and you're willing to heal it. And then it's no longer there. It dissipates and you're calling the next thing, or you and your beloved transmute that experience together and that understanding that allows you to both show up now in the gifts of it, and it no longer is a trigger. There's just no longer there. There's just such divine understanding. That is the gift we have. That is the journey we have. That is our process to ascension and divinity. It is in what's in front of us. We were talking about today, being present in the experience in front of us, but our human brain goes, well, let me think about this, let me plan this out, let me do this and this. We're not fucking present. We're not in what we're in and finding that shadow to turn it into something more. So of course we get the greatest gifts in front of us, you know, which if we stop pushing them away, right?
That's exactly, you know, you guys, it's so powerful. It's so powerful. So we were talking today about, you know, really learning to trust the body again, because our bodies bring us exactly what we need for next level of ascension, for next level of integration. But our mind will judge the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
You know, the mind says, this is wrong, this is
Wait
bad.
a minute.
Well, I don't need this. The body says, yes, I need this.
Yeah.
Mind says, no, we don't need this.
Yeah.
And the heart is kind of like in between. The heart is a battleground.
Yeah.
So what the Jinky teaches you guys is to trust the wisdom of the heart and to trust the wisdom of the body.
Yeah.
And that's how we become integrated human being, because a lot of times in our spiritual community, we can get really far out into becoming, you know, isolated, you know,
spiritual and
bubble,
separate, which is also separating yourself. I had an experience like that. I had actually someone that I was is very highly a leader in the spiritual community, and doing some shares with them, and she said the whole spiritual community attacked her and said, she's, you know, what, I speak my mind, right? I say all words, I say all things that come through, and it's like had judgments and stories about saying fuck or anything. And I was like, that's interesting. That's not my experience of spirituality. Spirituality is actually acceptance of all things. Love is acceptance of all emotions and all things. And so it's to accept all people being who they are. So it's like, well, instead we get to look at, why would that trigger me? What about that person triggers me that I'm trying to push them away or say I'm not like you or we're separate, that allows me to learn unity and oneness and allness to become a part of that, right? And so we can be, and this is the thing, it's like either rejecting spirituality. I think for those of you that maybe have been like, I'm not really on a spiritual path or right? Until we embrace that all of it is a spiritual path.
It's all spiritual path.
All of it. Making money is a spiritual path, you know, because it's embracing all the things outside of you that would keep you from loving yourself, coming back to love, coming back to it being for the highest, greatest good in service. When you're in that energy of creation, what do you receive? You receive the money. But when you're in like, I have to fight, I have to create this, it has to be this way, I have to do that, you know, because I have to be enough, that no wonder you're in scarcity and you're actually blocking. So you see how that's also a spiritual path.
Yeah. I love the idea that your body's on a spiritual journey.
Totally.
You know what I mean? That was like such a beautiful idea to play with, because first of all, like, we are spirits on the human journey, and then flipping the paradigm is like, hey, the body came here to experience this reality,
be the vessel and to feel all emotions, because that was part of the human experience we wanted, where it's like, what does it really feel like to feel so much pain or so alone or so vulnerable and all these things? And this is the gift that, I mean, in my awareness, it's like, if you want to say angels, guides, other experiencers are like, oh, like that's such a beautiful gift, to feel all things, to feel emotions so deeply. And how would we know darkness without light, and light without darkness? How would we know weak without strength? How would we know, lying versus honesty? How would we know anything if we didn't experience all of them? And that's why it is all of it. It is all of these things. It's so good.
So beautiful, you guys. So, so this is the wisdom teachings, and the reason why we're so passionate about it, right? Because, it shifted us. It shifted us how we see, who we attract in relationships, how we serve, how authentically we own our voice.
We're talking about gene keys.
We're talking about,
that have joined
some of you could join. Let me look at you guys. Like, so many. Hey guys, thank you so much for comments. Like, we're gonna look through them in a little bit.
Yeah,
but
we'll
please
definitely be able to go back and answer questions.
We're gonna look at every comment.
I don't even know how long we've been talking, because we're
in the flow.
We were like, seriously, guys, we were just playing and having lunch and having the best conversations. And I'm like, this record next time. Always just hit record. There's so many truths that I believe can open up enlightenment for others, and like. Open up just this understanding that gives you freedom, right? It's like, oh, that's why I've struggled, or that's why and then see the gift to go, oh, that's how I release that resistance. And that's how I give myself the next level of gifts and whatnot. So we finally said, okay, push play. We get to go on live and start talking about these things a little bit more.
And I also wanted to honor you, Marcy, because...
Thanks. Already, and I don't even know what it is, but thank you. I receive it.
But I love how you act on your intuition immediately. You know, like you saw the video that I did on the Gene Keys, and this woman reaches out to me with
like
such
immediately,
and your approach was with such humbleness. You know, like you just like we never spoke before. You approached me as a sister, and like it was so much honor in your approach. What I love about this woman, she acts on her intuition. I'm like, this is my girl. You know, she trusts her intuition. We go in it with purity, with intention, you guys, and look what it brought us.
Yeah.
So if you take away from anything from our live stream, is to trust your intuition. Yeah. When you get that impulse to contact somebody.
Into it, I see.
Ooh, into it, I see. I love it.
I see, yes.
Yeah, you got that impulse to reach out, to contact, to open the conversation. Don't let the mind squish your wisdom. Yeah. You know what I mean? The mind is great, but the mind needs to be disciplined. Yeah. That's why you guys with the Gene Keys and with the map, you know, like you have a map. You don't get lost during these ascension times. You can get lost. It's very easy to get lost.
Totally.
You know, you have a map. And a map of like, hey, if I am choosing my frequency, if my attitude determines my frequency, this is how I will show up when I'm fully in alignment. This is the gifts that I bring. This is the allies that I'm gonna attract. This is my authentic contribution. Imagine you have a precise map. You know how to read it, you know how to understand it, you know how to implement it in your work with clients, with your children, with your partners. It's a next level
team,
of liberation.
Everything. Yeah, it totally is.
Right?
I love that. Even like you're saying, like calling in the divine partners. I mean, instantly, I just knew she showed up. What she was speaking was such truth. And again, you guys might be listening to this and be like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I feel it.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just focus on that.
I can feel there's truth to this. I can feel that. Of course, it's in my own body. Of course, it's in my own nature. The own essence, the true self of who I am, that I have all the answers and all the tools. Of course, it's not outside of me and something that I'm lacking or you know, don't have, or is something to find. It's inside me. It's right here. So there's a part of this that might feel very true for you, even though you're like, that sounds cray-cray. That there's like, just like, cool, let me study this thing. And what we're really offering is this opening for people who are like, how do I go deeper? Because there are lots of pathways to going deeper, and I encourage all of them.
Me too.
I do not think there is one pathway. I mean, I have half my clients will go do medicine and journeys with me. Half of them aren't ready for it. You know, it's like, it is definitely like, I'm like, these are all the things that I've discovered that have given me freedom. And I only can stand here and say, this gave me freedom. And this is something that could give you freedom too. If you choose it, if it calls to you, if it seeks. So there's some of you that have been like, what else other than, you know, going to the empowerment seminars or doing these things, you know, like what else is there that allows me to go internal into my own world? And I mean, talk about something that's like, your specific own world, not just like, let's look at this concept and go within for ourselves. It's like your specific own world. And so that's why, like, when I had called this in, I called in the Gene Keys because I'm always continually expanding into the greatest version of my highest self. I'm always discovering my divinity. And I believe we're here to just simply discover and express our full divinity. That's what we're here for. And again, see, now I call in someone who can share even more understanding and be a reflection for me of how else to stand in my divinity, how else to express and understand it. And so as I hear Katerina, I'm literally like, whoa, this is a whole nother level. I love this. Instantly, I'm like, how do I become more a part of this? How do I understand this more? So I reach out to her and just like getting curious, right? And so it led to us becoming great, beautiful, divine sisters. Seeing, you know, obviously she checked our profiles and was like, sister, you was 6'3", you're me. We're totally I'm like, awesome, of course, no wonder. And see, it's opening up so much more. And of course, then she's even talking about we enter into these divine relationships that open up more of our gifts or more of the things that we can offer. And as I seek to learn and understand even more of utilizing this even with my clients and in my own life and these deeper things that Katerina just has such a genius for. She's studied for so many years, and you use this and you teach this in such a big degree, is I was like, how can we really, I would love to know more. And what actually happened is she was doing a retreat that I just couldn't make it to. It was like when I was going to be doing one of my retreats, or I was somewhere, right, in the world doing something. I was in New York. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, that's not an option for me. What else is possible? Right? I instantly go into curiosity. There's something here. There's something that I'm listening to and I'm feeling called to. What else is possible? And I realized not only is there more understanding for me, yet I know all my peeps that hear me talk about the Gene Keys, and I share. I definitely say I'm not an expert. I've been studying them for about 1.5 years, and they are a study for years, a contemplation and understanding. And when you have the gift of someone that can explain how to go right to the understanding and these connecting these dots, it's such a gift to up-level that experience and to be able to embrace it so much more. So it really came out of a curiosity thing of being like, how do I get to understand and take in even more? And I'm always, this is just one of my things. I'm a teacher, right? Like well, I see all things. I'm the line 6 is I see the whole picture. I see the big picture, and I see all the dots that you connect to get to that picture. We see all things where someone else might just see this view, and it's like we're trying to open up and share with you. This is our passion, is to share with you all the possibilities and how you can get to that. But you're like, wait, I'm stuck here. I'm stuck in this one thing, and you don't see all the connections to unlock that thing to get somewhere else. That's our gift. That's our line. And so instantly I'm like, how do we bring this? I see the big picture of bringing this to others, bringing more understanding for ourselves. And this is why we ended up here today, getting to play and share a little bit of a live. And that Katerina and I decided, do we get to share and tell? You ready, or you want to dive into? There's so much more I'm sure that we could go into.
Yeah. I think we'll just let's reveal the curtains.
Reveal the curtains of what we're doing.
Reveal the curtains.
I mean, talk about. So what we decided basically is that I asked her what is possible in understanding how to go deeper in these things in your world. And what we really came up with is, because my genius is really integration and imprinting. Like if you learn something and yet you don't integrate it into your life and your way of being, it doesn't become you, you recreate the same shit. It's like you just listened to a good book. That was cool. That was some good information.
That's right.
And a lot of people do the same thing with medicine or other things. They'll go in and they'll just like...
Especially with medicine.
Yes. They'll do some releasing, and then they go back and recreate the same shit in their life because they have not imprinted the new way of being, the understanding, the operations of being highly evolved, of being in that. And so they're missing it. The Gene Keys give such a gift of giving you the pathway. And my specialty is more of the imprinting and the integrating, and I know you go deep into that stuff too, because obviously you guide a lot of people through this. So my request, really, this stemmed out of a request of asking her, what could we create that allows, not for us to receive, me to receive a ton more, and all the people that would be like, I either don't know what the Gene Keys are, starting from scratch, to I've studied it just like I have. I've studied it, and there's way more for me to receive. There's way more for me to dig into the pathway in partnership. And the specific sequences, the pathway to prosperity and understanding, even the lines that we're talking about. Most people don't dive into that stuff. It's like, well, here's the main Gene Key, or here's the main thing. There's so much more depth to it that I found so helpful. And so really it was us kind of playing back and forth to go, cool, what could we create? And we talked about starting in January. So this is something that's coming up.
Yeah, you guys, are you ready taking notes?
Right? Right? Okay, you're already going to be messaging us. I know this is how it's going to happen.
We see some hearts. Yep. Terrell is giving us thumbs up.
He's like, something's coming. Something's coming. Because I have commitments to the end of the year, so do you. And we decided, like, we believe in flow and play and ease. So we're giving it some space to allow people to get ready. We're going to have you, get your genetic profile in the book and start on a few things. In January, we're going to start, is it 6 or is it 8? I don't even know. Weeks. What do we decide?
Yeah, we'll decide. We'll flow.
We're putting some parts of this. We've been feeling into it. But basically, she outlined, I mean, guys, I was like, we're talking about, well, I can let you share, but we're talking about some of the greatest depths to this and understanding. And and she was like, so what we're basically doing is we're going to create the space where we can teach further on the Gene Keys. This will be Katerina's expertise. And I'll be diving into, integration, imprinting, and even doing some live Q&A where we can see how does this come up, and we can assist you in seeing how the keys are showing up and how you can actually integrate it and imprint into your life, and then giving you the space to actually do that and settle into it, and then we'll teach again. So we're actually spanning this out where it gets to be a space where you do get to contemplate and sit with it and be studying it and experiencing all this, not like a boom, 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 boom. There's a bunch of information. I know you didn't take it all in, and I know you're going to try to go back to it sometime, but it's probably never going to happen. Because this is so much of a, we wanted to create this to be like such a beautiful gift and alignment. So maybe you can share a little bit about what that came through for you as what that gets to look like.
Well, I love that Marcy, because we're the same line, you guys were the same design, so to speak. So we channel information. We're like here to translate and to be a channelers. But to put structure is really helpful. So we put some structure around it, you guys. But it's almost like, we envision it is to go on a journey. We'll go on a journey for those who will be called. Instagram. We make it affordable for everybody. So it's a service for the collective. We're both leading into a space of how can we serve a bigger audience, how we can empower, because I see that this teachings as a way to empower people to become the masters of frequency, to become the masters of their inner world. And you guys, so we will dive deep into how do you activate purpose, partnership, prosperity, right? And then more than anything, even if you have somebody in your life, like let's say your clients, that you would like to teach a specific sequence. Cool. Specific sequence, I call them 8 codes to self-illumination. Right. And I'll just share with you guys.
Learning 8 codes for you to actually, even when you talked, I was like, oh my gosh, these are so powerful. Imagine just learning 8 understandings about yourself that allows you to be in your greatest light. Your full capacity, your full multidimensional self, and receiving it that to a great degree.
It's so powerful, you guys. Of course, we will teach you how to read your profile, how to play with it, how to work with it, how to implement it. But then beyond that, imagine learning a specific sequence that activates and unlocks the quantum leap to your consciousness. Right. Imagine you have that power. It's in your hands. It's almost like a recipe. If you put a recipe, you're gonna bake a really nice cake. If you put the wrong ingredients, the cake's not gonna come out.
You just have all the ingredients, but you don't know how to do it. Right?
So it's almost like
It'd probably be like a cake I used to bake. That's why I actually have a house manager and nanny now that does the cooking. And technically, I have 2 cookbooks. I used to cook.
It's so funny. You're so funny, guys. So so it's almost like you can take the 8 codes. And you can teach it to your clients, you can teach it to your kids, you can teach it to your, you can do like a study group at your home. Take
it's
this.
Just such a powerful gift for yourself.
Framework.
And for you to utilize with any other person. And now let's bring it back to maybe some of you have heard of your love languages or your top human needs, or these are all things that you learned about yourself of how you this is how I feel love. So when my partner was doing something different, I didn't see it as love, but that was his love language, and that's why he thought he was giving me love. And when you understand these things, or the operations of men and women, your feminine, your masculine, this is a whole nother in-depth level, again, of understanding yourself to such a greater degree than one piece of the puzzle. Think about what one piece of the puzzle can do for you. When you understand your love languages, etc., one piece of the puzzle can massively change your world.
It's everything.
In relationships. Imagine getting all the pieces, right? All the pieces in your profile, and then being able to dive through these. So maybe share some, I remember just reading these, I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, girl, oh my God,
right?
You're so good, oh my God. So good.
Well, kind of to summarize it, you guys, the main question I would ask somebody is, and I ask that, people get shocked when I ask them, I say, hey, well, what has been the greatest challenge of your life? And what the first thing comes up, and I say, how can you see it through new creative eyes? And this is what Jinky teaches you. But the 8 codes to self-illumination, right? The first code is coming into the now, moving from stress into stillness. The next code...
Stress into stillness. That is a journey, and that's amazing. And to learn that and understand that, I know. Right? I know. And I went from, that was my life path too, right? The stress and the chaos and the sacrifice and the servitude to being in stillness, being present, being able to receive because I can see what's going on versus right? You see the gift in that? You see the gift in that? That is your essence pace, and that is how you actually make money, because you're present with what is the gifts you get to utilize versus trying to figure out how to make money and running right past them. Just that alone. Oh my gosh.
Right? Yeah. So the very first code, you guys, and it goes to any wisdom teachings will always bring you, hey, you start with the now. So the very first code is, how do you actually step into the now with power? How do you transmute stress into stillness? Because stress is a frequency, you guys. Frequency determines your reality. So if you're constantly feeding this frequency of stress, your reality is stressful.
It won't change.
It won't change.
People are always like, oh yeah, well, when I get through this and when I finish that project, when I do that, then I'll go on the vacation, then I'll do that, then I'll take time, etc. No, you're creating stress. You're creating that frequency. You're in the frequency of chaos, which means your life will only continue in exactly what you're being right now.
So you guys, can you imagine mastering how to transmute stress? So that's a step number 1. The next step is leaping into the void.
What?
Moving from half-heartedness into devotion.
What? I know. I was reading these, I was like, what? These are all epic, amazing growth processes and journeys.
Yeah, so a lot of times if we don't get traction in our purpose and our mission, is because our commitment is half-hearted.
Yeah.
You know, you will never reach your full impact
Such a gift what
with
that is.
half-heart.
Yeah. Well, just tune into a second for what she said. I'm feeling that. Like, half-heartedness, no wonder you don't create the result. The energy is like, I kind of want to, I kind of don't. I kind of want to, I kind of don't. And unconsciously, I just want to bring this to presence for people. I want it, I don't, because I want success. Oh, but I'm going to be alone if I get success. I want money, but then, you know, someone might take advantage of me. Oh, I want to be attractive. Oh, but I might get attacked. Unconsciously, how that's showing up, and that you're not fully choosing in on something because you haven't broken through the stories and the fears behind it. Yeah.
So imagine solving that, you guys. Yeah. Imagine learning to embody frequency of devotion. You know, and we both chose partners who are deeply devoted people. You know, and my partner is listening, and I'm sending love.
I think mine is still too. He started. He might have had something else. He's holding the grounds. He's making sure Bali Love doesn't bark.
So step 3, you guys. Step 3 is amazing. Step 3, code 3, it's called discovering your uniqueness, moving from mediocrity to exquisiteness.
Wow.
Can you imagine dropping the status quo? Why people are miserable?
Mediocrity. Wow.
Dropping mediocrity. Imagine giving a precise steps how you can do it. Not just to talk about conceptually.
Yeah.
We're actually going to dive deep into this one topic. How to drop mediocrity. How to turn the exquisiteness of your spirit.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you think about, I just want you guys to hear this. What is mediocrity, right? Like, what is normal in our society? Okay, I'll give it to you. Normal is shit. It is. Normal is broken. Normal is being broke. Normal is struggling. Normal is sacrifice. Normal is comparison game. Normal is I have to compromise. That's normal. That's mediocrity. That doesn't sound good. I like exquisiteness, though.
Exquisiteness.
That sounds fun.
That's right.
Let's
right?
do that one.
Yeah, and then you guys, we're moving to the code number 4.
Whoops. I'm just gonna see if we got questions or things coming in your way up there.
The code number 4, you guys, is facing the challenge as a warrior of light. You know, really moving from struggle to honor. You know, can you imagine, like, really learning how to honor your struggle?
Yes. Please.
How to face it as the light warrior.
Through it. I mean, that's such a gift of how to. I think we're missing the how to. People are like, how do I love this? And there's the massive disconnect on how to just love it, and that is how you heal it. That's beautiful. Cool.
Then we have soul code number 5, embracing your humanity. Moving from turbulence into compassion, and especially now with turbulence times, right?
Yeah.
Then soul code 6, we go the key to breakthrough.
Yeah.
You know, moving from deafness to epiphany.
Yep.
And then you have this one. You have the soul code 7, finding your majesty within. Moving from, this is powerful, you guys. Moving from force to true inner strength.
Yes. Totally, I have that locked down. Right? That's been my journey.
Yeah. You know,
force, fight, struggle. Yeah.
And the less I force, the more I receive.
And as in majesty, being an empress, right? I am so worthy. It's like, I'm not down at the warrior in the grounds fighting the battle anymore. It's literally being fought for me. There's things moving for me. Things are transmuting. I literally am taken care of. I'm fully honored. I'm fully worthy. I'm being feathered with air. People are trying to feed me. Cupcakes.
I know. We had some cupcakes
some
today.
paleo cupcakes.
They were paleo. So you guys, we're almost there. And the last, soul code 8 is embracing the dark side to liberate your true destiny.
What?
Would somebody write this in the comments, you guys, if you would be so kind? Embracing the dark side to liberate your true destiny.
Which is everything we've been talking about and everything the Gene Keys holds.
Yes.
It's our mess becoming our message, our core wounds becoming our greatest core strengths. It's our shadows becoming our greatest gifts. It's our exact divine frequency and genes to allow us to have that true ascension to our divinity, operating in full awesomeness.
Yeah, you guys. So, these are, this is
a piece of it.
This is just a piece of it. This is the sequence that, we kind of put together. But the main thing for us, the main goal for us is to enchant you, to stir that curiosity.
Thank you, Harsh, for putting that in the
comments. Thank you, Harsh, so much. Thank you. Yes. to enchant you, to start that curiosity, right? And then invite you on the journey, whether you're going to journey on your own, whether you journey with us.
Exactly.
You know,
no attachments, no expectations. We have no expectation of you. We simply are here to share this.
Yeah, we just want to enchant you, you know, and because it was so moving and impactful for us. And another thing we're going to add is we will introduce human design, because a lot of my peeps, and I think, believe it, your peeps, they also like, Katerina, what's human design? And you guys, I have to be transparent. Hey, Marcy, people come to me for readings, and I don't have the bandwidth to do individual readings anymore, you guys. I've been doing them because, you know, it's a passion project. I was like, I don't have the capacity to do them anymore.
So this creation came through to assist more and more people.
Exactly.
She wouldn't have the room and space for in her personal life to be able to take on more clients. I obviously am fulfilled in what I'm doing. So we're like, ooh, what do we create that is honors our time, our effort, our energy, and will assist so many people in understanding all the depths of how this gets to go, and going through these gene keys, understanding the profiles, understanding these extra codes. Again, part of Katerina's beautiful genius and the depth that she's gone to is understanding these codes and making it available for everyone to have these beautiful keys that we've understood.
You guys, so yeah, so if it ignited you, if it moved you, if you're curious, that's enough. You know, we're gonna give more information. We're putting it together.
Well, I'd say message us if you're one of those people who wants more information, because we're just tuning into the fine details, but we know it'll be, you know, we're
January.
You know, and it's like how many we choose. So if it's something that calls to you, please message us and let us know. We're making it extremely low cost. Again, for the level of clients that we work with, again, you're talking about passion projects. We're talking about being divine connections where we're like, ooh, this feels good. There's something we get to give our communities, our peeps, our clients, and create this thing that allows so many more people to be affected by this. And whether you choose in on that or not, it might be that you just choose to go, cool, I'm going to go get my own profile. I'm going to go get my own book, and I'm going to start to study this. This is awesome. I'm so happy for you. If you're seeking more of the depths or the guidance through these tools and these keys, which, you know, is such a gift, then please message us, and we'll have you on a list of those people that are interested, and we'll, as we're allowing how many and getting the fine details of when we start, etc., and we'll be able to offer this gift to more people. Super excited about it.
Yeah, and the only thing I would add, you guys, you know, like, if you're one of those people who just not interested in consuming this, and you just
this
want...
is the actual one. This is the Gene Keys book. Now, again, but this is all the Gene Keys. Remember, you have your specific that you study, and you learn from all of them, but that's just the Gene Keys book. Again, we're simplifying. We like to make it simple.
Yeah, so
these are even on just the different pathways and the lines. I mean, there's so much
there's
knowledge.
so much, you guys.
So to have someone who can just go, do
simplify.
This, understand this. This is the pathway to this. This is what you dive into here. This is how we magnify and create, you know, these codes coming through this in your work. I mean, I've been studying for a year and a half and learning all that I could. And the moment I heard her talk about some of the codes and some of the deeper, I was like, what? I didn't even know. Yes, please. Thank you, right? And asking for it. So yes, wisdom. Thank you, London. Wisdom is priceless, period. Yes. And it's like how we know that, you know, I love to learn from someone who's already figured it out. You know, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's like, please teach me those gifts and those understandings. That's why I've been so invested in myself my entire life. As I became awakened and went on that, me being so invested in myself meant I invested in myself for my life's experience. Again, what is more sacred than your own life experience? So I invest myself by you know, investing in others and investing in information to learn and understand these things within myself, which gives us this. So yes, if that calls to you guys, and you would love to be able to interact with this beautiful goddess and myself, as we go through this process of understanding the gene keys, understanding your profiles, understanding, you know, all of the pathways to open and unlock these things and these codes. First step is just to message us and tell us why you're interested and if it really calls to you. And then we'll be kind of sharing some more information as we get more clear on date, time, and all that good stuff, right?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and the only thing I would add to, like, if you don't have the capacity to watch like 35 webinars, you know, that the Gene Key system requires, you know, and read so many books. If you want somebody to extract the essential and actually, you know, how we see the format, we're going to teach it live, you know, so it's a transmission in the moment and it's very interactive. So it's not like you're a passive listener. You are part of this transmission. You're part of the process. We go on a journey together, and we dive deep like these deep sea divers into the treasures that hidden in your soul, in your DNA. If you wanted to be a part of that, private messages, you guys, you know, reach Marcy, reach me. We're easy to reach.
Well, if you message us on right, it's easy. Message us here. And I want to say, like, even opening up the space for live Q&A, I mean, this is what I get paid millions to do, is to hear what's going on with people and see the disconnect and bring up and understand and like walk through the breakdown to break through to allow them to have like, that movement. Even offering that space is priceless.
So powerful.
You're going to teach these, we're going to share the integration of them, the imprinting of them, and then opening up the space, obviously, to be able to support and be in Q&A. And we're doing it at a place where it's like, we get to study and we get to integrate it. Not just like, again, here's 35 webinars, take our, 3-week course, right? We're actually splitting this up and making it very doable, integratable. So it is the perfect process to experience the Gene Keys. So I'm super excited about it. I'm like, is it January yet?
I know.
It's almost Halloween.
I know.
And we're so happy living in this is the bliss life we live in, right? It's like, we have all these amazing things going on right now that we get to just share and enjoy. I'm about to head tomorrow with Gavin the Great to Utah to see Skylar, and it's like Halloween, and we've got all these fun things coming up, and so we're like, cool, January feels really good. And it feels so good also because I believe it's like, it really is a clean slate for people when they're ready to go cool. Like, so rock out your projects, know that it's something that you can start to become prepared for, and starting January, it's like, you ready to go deep? You ready to dive into your Gene Keys, your profile?
Yeah, and it's just like, I'm just excited to spend to co-create this with you.
I'm excited to hang out with you. That's totally a part of the bonus here.
It's such a part of the bonus.
I love that. That's how we get to create. It's like, of course, it gets to be like so much fun. And again, if your life isn't looking like this, and that meaning it's full of joy, it's full of love, all the relationships are magnifying, and they're bringing out more of your light and more of your your understanding, and all of this. That's something to look at, right? That's like, it's whatever we can't be with won't let us be, and whatever resisting is keeping us from that your life experience is meant to be joy and bliss and happy. So again, this is the pathway to divinity. I want you to hear that's what divinity is. It's actually fully expressing yourself and discovering all of your divinity means that you live in bliss and I call it super flow. Supra flow and supra consciousness, right? It's that next level. And Gene Keys is definitely a tool and a pathway and a transmission to supra consciousness and supra flow.
Yeah, and I just joined the Gene Keys Ambassador Program, Marcia. I didn't tell you that. Yeah, we got to get to that on there as well. It's so cool, you guys, because one of the reasons I love the person through whom the system came through, Richard Roth. He's such a humble,
so sweet.
humble teacher, and he wants the teachings go global and shared with other people,
And it doesn't come from go global so I'm seen. It's literally like, this thing came through me, here's this. Please, everyone that it can serve, utilize it. Enjoy this gift that came through. It has nothing to do with me. It definitely is more of a, it's because it's a transmission. It's a transmission. It's a gift. It's like a lot of our technology and a lot of things that we receive, sometimes we don't realize it's alien frequency gifts.
Exactly.
For us to evolve and time hop in our evolution, Gene Keys is a gift. It's a transmission from somewhere else so that we have an understanding that allows us to time hop into our highest, greatest self much more quickly, and our humanity to rise. Which means you're receiving prosperity and love and joy and bliss and all of that because you're evolved into your highest state of evolution, which there would be no sacrifice and settle in that. It means you work through that to love and accept it.
Yeah,
and we can go on for days.
Right? Yeah, and the time is now, you guys. Yeah. If you're watching, you've been drawn to this transmission, there is a reason. I would just say really honor that.
Yeah.
Because you guys, I'll just say this, when the Gene Keys and the human design came into my life, it came like this. Boom, it's time for you to study me.
Yeah.
There was not an option.
Yeah.
There was it's time. And I was so pulled in. There were weeks and months that I would just be in that, you guys. You know what I mean? So that I always say, listen to that inner yes within, because it always guides you to where you truly belong and where this next level activation is presented to you. So listen and honor the guidance, listen and honor intuition. And if it calls you, you guys reach out to Marcy, reach out to me. comment in the comments like, hey guys, we're so in. And then we'll put you on the list. We'll keep you updated on our developments. And we'll be so excited to share the journey.
Really soon, we're going to be finalizing this and how many people we want to allow into this. And there's something that kept coming through I want to bring presence to is you said that. And I just want you guys to hear is because it's easy to say and we can still easily bypass it. Like you even saying, listen to how you feel as we talk about this. Listen and imagine. It might be that unconsciously you're scared of receiving the gift. Because if I receive that gift and I get all this knowing and I get all these codes and I do this, then what excuse do I have that I'm at where I'm at?
Mic drop. This was
unconscious commitments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unconscious commitments to limitations.
Right. And so this is, you might hear this and you are feeling something here. And she says, act on that. Message us, just tune in. I mean, we're making this extremely available for everyone and low cost and all these things because it is this calling and this thing that we get to, it's a service. It's a passion project, right? And yet you might go, oh, this was so great. This was so amazing. That's cool. And oops, I'm distracted. I'm on Facebook again and I'm doing something else and I'm doing this. And you might completely bypass in your human operating systems, your survival patterns, you might bypass what's available to you. Right? So because look at how much we have, how many distractions we have. This is the way we've been trained to operate. We're not even in this present moment. We're projecting based on our past, think about past or projecting into the future. And I'm calling you to the presence of what she just said, which is if you feel something, if you feel called to this, if there's something in that says, ooh, can it really be possible? Can it really be true? Can I really receive this much understanding about myself? Can I really allow myself? See, I'm in already, right?
Yay.
Right? Can I receive this much, this bliss, this joy for whatever, if you feel even a draw to this, know that it is possible. A lot of times we stop ourselves from moving forward because we're like, oh, that can't be possible for me. But do you see that it's possible? We're living it. We're teaching it. We're sharing with you that it is possible. So if you feel that, then I want to reaffirm what she said and what she gave you the contribution of to act and operate in for yourself. The opportunity you have in front of you is to do something. Take an inch. Get curious versus just being like, oh, yeah, I got stuff to do. And January's going to be busy. And allowing our operating systems that are in our unconscious commitments that are reactionary versus true, pure, present responsiveness of our highest self and being to be present here. So I know that the perfect people that are really seeking this and that we're calling, you guys were calling this in for us to call each other in to then create this, to give this gift to more people, that you will show up, that you will be the ones that will be acting on that. And I hope that those of you that feel anything and are maybe aren't trusting yourself as enough or haven't, that you can lean on the trust and the intuition that we're telling you that your body will never lie, that energy never lies, that your body will always be the first thing to share with you. And if there is a pull, then we hope that you will join us because we do know that discovering your gene keys and going through this process will give you so much freedom that I as a high level coach and mentor that gets paid really well. People pay a lot of money, highly invested in themselves to work with me. And I know it's the same for her. For us to, I know that I couldn't deliver the gifts that this gives. I can't give you the same gifts that the gene keys can give you. Only you can get that from the gene keys. I can give you the gifts that I can see and lead you to the freedom in the past that I'm open to, and it's my job or it's my calling to bring that to presence. But this in and of itself is a whole gift to bring to presence, and this woman has a lot of understanding around it to bring to give us these gifts as well.
Thank you, sister, for seeing me. Yeah. You guys, it's all about the power of simplicity. How can you explain a very complex system that looks complex in a simple language through storytelling? So expect a lot of storytelling, expect a lot of fun and laughter, and
as we share our journey, how we've learned it, and that's what gives you insight. I mean, we shared stories today. I was like, oh, I see that. Thank you for that. Totally. She gave me gifts of understanding, and I gave her gifts of understanding through us sharing our experiences of learning through the gene keys, right? Yeah, you guys. Well, over 80 minutes. Thank you, London. He just gave us. Thank you so how much awesomeness has just been coming through.
Yeah, we were just channeling, right? So we have cupcakes waiting us.
Yeah, oh my gosh. And sound frequency healing.
And sound frequency. So we're just gonna spend like the rest of the night just like savoring this frequency because Marcy acted on her intuition. Marcy acted on her inner S.
Yeah.
She reached out. She didn't speculate. She didn't like, oh, maybe in a month I'll reach out to
Katerina.
I'm
just like, so I feel there's something here.
Yeah,
I feel
exactly.
Let's get curious.
And the speed of action, right? On inspiring, intuitive nudge. This what creates miracles, you guys. You know, that's how you find your true allies. You find your true partnerships. You find your true gifts. You find your contribution. All because you trust the inner yes.
Thank you.
Right?
That's beautiful.
Look what unfolded. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see what it unfolds and the souls that will step into that experience, you guys. So we're excited to meet you. We're excited to dive deep with you into the mystery of your essence, of who you really are. What are you here to bring? Who you're here to liberate? Because we are on one mission only, to liberate souls.
And firstly, to liberate yourself.
Yes.
Right?
First thing is to liberate yourself.
First you get to liberate you before you can liberate anyone else, and you can't save anyone else but yourself. So
that's right.
And this it unlocks that freedom to liberate yourself, which will liberate others you are around, because you become that beam of light and liberation.
That's right.
Da,
that's right.
da,
that's right.
Mic drops, mic drops.
Yeah,
mic
and
drops.
we're gonna do this again, right, Marcy?
Yeah,
we're only like 40 minutes away from each other, so
the magical manifestation. We're actually sitting in the guest area right now. I was like, babes, I'm trying to walk around my house. I'm like, so there's this whole area over here if you're gonna come stay and hang out and play, and there's a meditation room there, and here's a ceremony room, and there's a waterfall and a hot tub. Just so you know, just so you can come be here, because I would love this woman in my space more. Obviously, and we created, this is what's beautiful about technology today in all these ways, is we created a way that this is possible. That you can be anywhere in the world and join us for this beautiful adventure on the Gene Keys, and diving into these codes and receiving all this stuff, and even being, it's like being 40 minutes away. We already knew each other. We were already like, I was already in love with this woman, like right away. I know, Dallas, you're watching. It's true. There's all bunch of love going on. Like all the love.
Sister love is going on. Yeah, it's so good. But it's like looking at the mirror. That's the power of you guys. We want to help you understand like your own uniqueness. Like the reason why we call each other 6 line or 6'3" is because it's a deep sense of understanding. You know, like for me, and I can like boldly assume that you have been misunderstood most of your life, right?
I was always hiding.
Always misunderstood. The same thing for me, you guys. Feeling like the ugly duckling as a kid, and then feeling like alien all my life.
Totally. So I envisioned myself. I literally, in one of my ceremonies, I saw like how I just wanted to be in an invisible bubble walking around in school. Like I shamed myself so much of being like not enough and all these things. Again, completely misunderstood for what was in here. And I had to actually understand myself, right? We have to choose to understand ourselves first before we can ever be understood. Isn't that beautiful?
It's so beautiful, you guys. So that's what the Gene Keys does, and human design is to help you really claim all the parts of you.
Our pleasure, Gabrielle. She says from the bottom of my heart, thank you. So glad that you were here. I know a lot of my peeps have been like, help me understand more. So I'm so glad that Katerina got to come on and share. So guys, we're going to go eat cupcakes.
Eat cupcakes. We got cupcakes. We got paleo cupcakes.
Sound healing frequencies. Ding activation tonight. We've got loads of the beautiful conscious individuals, friends coming over to our beautiful space.
Yeah.
And I might convince her to stay.
Yeah, because I want to, this is so relishing this amazing, energy and seeing each other through a reflection of your divine sister. Totally. It's beautiful, you guys. So we thank you for spending this time with us. Thank you for giving us your attention, your presence, your love, your hearts.
We lost Instagram a long time ago.
We totally did, but
it shut down. I guess Instagram being the first live on Instagram was like, I don't know that I can handle all this information. And it's Facebook going strong. We love you.
Facebook going strong,
Our
you guys.
hanging out there going, cool, bring it. We brought it.
So the final call to action is just send us a private message, you guys, and we'll create a little community and we'll keep you updated, and it'll be an honor to share the journey with you. Thank you so much, you guys. We love you.
Love you guys. Mwah.
Bye.